Hey, good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Welcome to Masati on Sunday. A lot of crazy stuff happening, right? So this is Life Explained episode of Masati on Sunday, where we explain some of the stuff that's going on, especially with what just happened yesterday. Crazy stuff. The world is literally falling apart. Is it for the good, or is this the end of the world? That's what we're going to be getting into. Also, the renewal mastery strategies for letting go and achieving success, because that's really one of the key foundations on why there is so much trouble in the world. I'll say that again: strategies for letting go and achieving success. It's like, well, because most individuals here go, well, if everybody was successful, if everybody was thriving, if everybody had all the same equalities that the wealthy people do, we'll all be happy. That's all bullshit, guys. It's total bullshit. You can see it. You can see it in the world today. Okay, and I'll go into details on that because I know some it takes you back. It's because the wealthy go, well, shit, it's the poor people. And the poor people go, well, it's the wealthy people. The religious people go, well, it's them. They're not my religion, right? It's kind of crazy, right? Everybody blames everybody else. That's the problem. And everybody has a different solution. They need to do my religion. They need to do my method of life. They need to become wealthy. They need to support themselves, whatever it might be. But look at your reasoning for being here. Just think about it, okay? Or your purpose of thriving. Actually, it's surviving. Your purpose of surviving. It's not really working out for you. No offense, unless you're exponentially intelligent. But overall, really, look around you. Look at your friends. Look at the people. Again, look at those of you who've become exponentially intelligent, and you get to see that there's a much deeper layer that's going on. Now I'm not knocking anything down. In fact, I'm a proponent for anything that you've got. I'm not against anything. Otherwise, exponential intelligence science would actually become another religion for you, right? You can't do this, you can't do that. No. The only thing that you can't do in XI is, well, uh, I can't even say that. The only thing you have to do in XI, okay, there's no can'ts, is to be your best possible version of who you are. Notice that I couldn't even say that you can't do that because it's only one law that dictates everything about you, and that is just to be your best damn possible self that you can be. Most people go at a physical surface level. Well, I did this, and I prayed 5 times a day, or I went to church every Sunday. That's not what I'm talking about. It's your best possible frequency, the reason why you were created in this reality in the first place. Going back to that aspect of who you are. Okay. And then what you do, making money, having a religion, not having a religion. Obviously, people wouldn't be poor in this situation. It literally solves everything. And it's only one thing that you have to focus on, not a million things, but just one thing: being the best, highest possible frequency that you can be here in space and time. That's what that means. Your best potential at the moment of time that you exist in. Okay. Now, there's a lot of science behind that because a lot of you go, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, again, if you get into the quantum realms, quantum physics, if you study those opportunities that are available for you, they're on YouTube. There's everywhere. Over here, social media, it can be used to transform your life in many possible ways. How many how many of you actually use social media to benefit you? So people go, well, social media is bad and this is bad. It's just we don't know how to control it. We don't know how to control life. Simple as that. Okay, guys. Coming back to what happened yesterday, and then we'll get into well, frequency-based strategies for mastering letting go. We'll get into that and understanding frequencies through the XI lens. Also, guys, we'll take your comments. Let me just move some things around on my screen here so I can see your comments as I speak. All right. Again, a lot of you might have questions. As a note, we've made some changes to MOS Masati on Sunday. We're going to have open mic where you guys can ask the questions. I'll answer anything. Again, it's not about scanning you or anything like that, but it is about answering the bigger questions that's happening in the world. It seems like we need that because a lot of the experts, they're not experts at the level that we need to be. They could be experts at economy, could be experts at making a hell of a lot of money. Um, you know, they could be experts at physics or anything like that, but they're not experts at frequencies. This is the only place where you can uh, get the expertise, the science behind frequencies, and not just any frequencies, inception frequencies that render or create who you are, frequencies that create everything in and around you. Right? We'll get into that. Well, let's talk about what happened with former President Donald Trump, and then the current running president. Kind of crazy, right? Back in the day, a couple of years ago, I predicted that this race is going to be crazy. Some strange things are going to happen. I didn't know what. I'm not a psychic in any way. I just see algorithms and patterns. Okay. And I see you in your life as well. Your algorithms and patterns. So let's just go back let's just go back and see how this shapes our reality. So you're say you're independent frequency and you're not, but just imagine that you're an independent frequency. Your thoughts frequencies are your own. Again, you're not. That's the inner fractal of who you are. Okay, so I'll just explain that for you. What that means is that you think you're an outside, you're an independent idea. It's your life it's your life, it's your life purpose, and all that stuff that science and uh, religions, your faith, and all that tell you. You're not. You're just fractals. You're fractals of your mom, dad, parents, grandparents, and so on. History. Those are all fractals that come into you. So you're bits and pieces of all the history behind you. Does that make sense? And then you render you. And then what happens is, again, you're an infinite being. This is how you become infinite, though. Then what you do is you resonate. You become you become part of a bigger fractal, just like you are parts of a smaller and smaller fractal. You become a bigger and bigger version of a fractal. So you and your family, that's your family unit. You take one family unit away, one person away. You have, say, 7 people in your immediate family. You take one away, it distorts the family dynamics, right? It distorts that fractal or that consciousness or that mind, that mastermind. All right. So your family, well, it's part of a bigger family, and then it gets part of a bigger family, and then the cities that you dwell in. Right. You're, again, fractal upon fractal, or filters upon filters upon filters upon filters that create the fractals of this reality. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you get to the human, right, concept of who you are, or the human mastermind. Right? So one builds on the other builds on the other. So it goes inwards and outwards, just like a toric field, right? It literally, it just keeps flowing back and forth. So the comment I made on Telegram yesterday on, we are the problem of what's happening. Okay? So let's just go back some time, 75, 80 years ago. And I know this is heavy stuff. So take a breath in. We'll make it an experiential experience for you. Okay. By the way, I'm not blaming anything, anybody, any group. I'm just giving you the patterns. Okay. Because the science of XI does not blame. It just sees patterns. You change your pattern, and then you get better solution. Simple as that. There's no blame in XI. There's no good or bad in XI, by the way. All right. Take a deep breath in. That needs further explaining as well. But again, take a breath in. All right. So, for example, back in the day, 75, 80 years ago, again, when Hitler was around, right? Not too long ago, if you think about it, it's only 3 generations back. It's not that long. So, and it still exists today. Kind of crazy on why that frequency exists today. It should have been long gone, but it's not. Right? Should have been buried, but it's not. Should have been dead, but it's not. It's resurrecting itself. Do you get the key? It's resurrecting itself. Look at how many times people who have, say, brought the truth, or, and I'm not saying Trump is bringing out truth. He could be. He could. I'm not. I'm not here for that. I think both candidates, by the way, have some issues, some really, 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 really deep issues, and any candidate that they bring on will have deep issues because they don't understand the concepts of frequencies. Simply. All right. Although I do like RFK, but he's more stable. All right. So on going back to what I was talking about is that for societies or human societies to create things like Hitler, you think people will go, well, if we just went back and if we just went back and eliminated Hitler, if we had a time machine, just think, you'd go, oh, then it'd be okay, right? How many people think that way, right? Because there's so many movies on that, right? There's so many physicists that think about that, right? If we just go eliminate so and so, or if this event happened, if we eliminate World War, two, then the atrocities of World War II would not happen. It's all bullshit, guys. It's a pattern that runs. Okay, if that pattern does not get fulfilled, it'll render itself in a different way. That pattern does not get fulfilled, it'll render itself in a very, very different way. Simple as that. So, for example, in Hitler's time, we needed to create something because, again, it's a convergence of all these frequencies of everybody on the planet, and that's the convergence. That's what we created. So all our little ingredients put together in one big, say, cake created a cake called the issues with Hitler. We just labeled it Hitler. If it wasn't Hitler, it'd be somebody else. It'd be something else that would destroy the Jews. Okay, no offense, but that's what would happen. If it wasn't for the bombing, something would happen that, say, the Japanese would get destroyed. If it wasn't for whatever big event in history that's there, if that didn't happen, something would take its place for it to happen. That makes sense. So if we stop the bombing, if nobody, Einstein, what didn't help create the atomic bomb, we find another way to kill the Japanese. Unfortunately, again, do you see the cycle? Okay, I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm just telling you the cycle on that. Okay, so we as a whole, as a family, what happens, and this is what happens in your family. How many of you have changed through exponential intelligence and you see your family fall apart for the better or for the worse? Okay. How many of you have done that? Okay. Comment in. I know there's a minute delay here. Okay. So again, a lot of you, right? So just imagine that distortion. Now imagine if the real solution to what's happening today, whether it's Trump or anybody else, okay, whether it was Martin Luther King, JFK, Gandhi, I could go on and on and on and on, right? We need to see the patterns. People who are against, say, the system, or bringing out truth, right, or have a different concept in mind for the current reality, most of the masses will say no to it. Whether you're a Trump supporter or whether you're against it, you are dominating, or you are going, I do not want to change this reality for myself, but other people should change for me. So again, whether you're a Trump supporter or you're not, it doesn't matter. You're part of this whole equation. The way to break this equation, it's not more rules, more laws, more being nicer and all that bullshit, because we've tried that before. It's like, look inwards, look into your inner fractals on what's created you, and look inside and go, shit, you know what? Uh, I've got memories from my great grandparents and so on that was experienced the Holocaust back in the day, uh, did did experience what happened to the Indians back, with the Spanish back in the day here in America. I was part of that, uh, fill in the blank, the atrocities that happened in Russia, atrocities that happened in my own country, Afghanistan. 7 million people, just mass graves. Nobody talks about that, and that just happened a lot less time than what happened back with the Jews. Again, we just bury that, but it becomes part of you. We need to cleanse those frequencies at our deep level. We need to remove those memories, cellular memories. We need to clean out our primitive, say, consciousness. And it's not primitive. It's within our primitive brain, which is a huge mistake. It's not a primitive brain. It's a timeless brain. It's what connects you to everybody else. Right? If you've ever watched the Fantastic Fungi, you know that everything else is connected to everything else. Same thing here. Humans are interconnected. So, what you can do as a whole is go inwards and ask what part of you resonates with what happened today. You are a collective total of what's happening today, whether you like it or not. Now, one caveat, there is a lot more people starting to awaken, and you actually are removing yourself from the petri dish of where you get your collective ideas. You literally are creating, say, a new concept, a new consciousness. And that's what XI does. You don't have to apply XI. I mean, you don't have to go through my purpose, but there are a lot of people awakening going, I'm out of this consciousness. I'm over here. That's the way you do it. You cleanse yourself. You go through and cleanse yourself. That's what many of you have gone through, by the way. Letting go of the complete deep frequencies of who you are, what's made you, the inner fractals of who you are. How many of you have gone through that process and are still going through it? Right? Again, just keep going through it, guys. It's Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Going back to your old patterns, especially if you have issues, if you're having problems, now, the higher level individuals, right? What you're doing is you're releasing what I just talked about, right? First, you release your personal stuff, then your familial patterns, then your, say, genetic, great grandparents and so on like that, and then you keep going, and then in tune, what happened is that. Yeah, I'm just reading Billy's comment. Anyway, in time, what happens is that you keep releasing at a very, very deep level. This is the problem with society today. People are releasing at a very, very deep level. You are becoming free. So it's actually, unfortunately, it's actually a good sign. But all the bullshit that's happened back in the past, back in the day, have you noticed it recycling itself? Well, the reason why, again, it recycles This time around, hopefully we learn from it. Otherwise, just like you, just like some people, right? That opportunity for you to release the bullshit that destroyed your life back in the day, do you take it or do you not? Do you take the blue pill or do you take the red pill? If you've always been taking, again, the same pill over and over again, it'll recreate the same reality. Take the other pill. It doesn't matter which pill that you took before, take the other one, right? You need to shift yourself, right? We all have a responsibility to society. Absolutely. Yet you are saying today and all the other times to remove yourself from the societal consciousness. Well, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, Billy. So again, yesterday I talked about we have to look inwards to remove ourselves from society. Exactly. So the society that you created, Billy, including you, is fucked up. So what's a responsible thing? You cannot support that society. You don't, to be in the society, you don't take votes. It's not an attitude perception, although it is, those things do affect it. Those things are affected by it. What you do is you remove yourself of this petri dish, right? You move yourself into a cleaner societal value structure, right? You're not in that game anymore. So you are not supporting that. Just like if you don't like something, you don't support it with your dollars, right? And then the thing falls apart. So what happens here in this case, you don't support it with your frequencies. The thing falls apart. So that's becoming responsible for yourself, because in XI, or the way the universe works, there's no sacrifice. Well, there is a sacrifice. You sacrifice your bullshit for the new self, right? Most people in this reality sacrifice themselves to find a better self, which doesn't make sense. But again, to answer your question, Billy, you move over into this the way society should be. Being responsible for society the way it's fucked up, you shouldn't be responsible for that. Again, you're responsible because you're creating the frequencies. Once you remove your ingredient, and just imagine millions of people removing their presence or their vote, because that's what you're doing. You're voting, going, I want to be part of this society. So that's not, I'm not responsible for that. Fuck that. I want to be responsible for the society in its original core of who we are, right? Not the bullshit that people have perpetuated. You want to be in the new society, the new consciousness of what humans should be at. And when you are, you're very responsible, because then this part collapses. And if it collapses and those individuals still stay in tune, it's like, nope, I'm going down with the sinking ship. That's fine. That's not your responsibility. That's another thing as well. You all think that responsibility comes from taking care of people who don't take care of themselves. That's a fucked up frequency. Nature does not do that. It gives you, and again, it's against free will, right? Their free will at a deep level is staying where they are. So why are you entangling yourself with where they are? God doesn't even do that. It's against God's rule. That's one rule that God, in any religion, spirituality, the universal laws has. It creates the underlying frequencies, the infrastructure, and then it lets you go play with it because that's what you wanted. Nature is different. It's very, very structured. It's very kept clean. It's taken care of by God. But humanity, we elevated ourselves to a point that's like, yeah, you know what? We want free will. And then humans created free will. Hence, that's why we're fucked up. Simple as that. It's not that we're bad, it's just that we are very young at understanding frequencies. If we start to understand frequencies, we start to change society's values to its optimal self. But you should never, never be responsible for people and what they decide or do. You should be responsible for creating, say, the optimum society, though, because you came here in this reality as human form. So, hence, you would be responsible for that. So, that's the responsibility I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So, we'll move on. We'll get into the frequency based for mastering letting go. And then we can get into the open mic and we can talk about all this. I think it'd be pretty juicy because then all the old stuff for us comes out. And that's what it's about. Right? We can talk about it. Take a deep breath in. Oh, one last thing. And this is part of this as well. I was watching this forum on this. She's a professor. She was talking at some university, and she was talking about the differences between men and women biologically, just biological differences. And they try to shut her down. Some of the people in the audience, the woke movement, try to shut her down, and it's like, well, fuck, if you're denying the differences between men and women, I mean, whatever you call it, there's different body parts. You can't deny that. People are actually starting to deny the physicalness of their body. Like, that's fucked up. That's a fucked up society, guys. You're denying how you render or how you create yourself. Simple as that. Is you're in physical form. The evidence is there. You can't fucking deny it. But people are. I'm not saying it's an illness, a mental illness. Again, all those things are parts of society that you all, whether you think you're straight, you think you're, I don't know, um, LGBTQXYZ, whatever letter they add today. Either way, you're all part of that responsibility. Again, clean your frequencies up so you can transfer into the way it should be. And then whatever you are, you own it, and then everybody else will help you own it as well. That's the key. In this society, nobody owns anything. It's the wild, wild west. And if you do own something, you'll get killed for it. Simple as that. That's how bad it's gotten. All right. All right. Back to the frequency based strategies for mastering letting go. Yep. Yeah. So in the realm of XI, frequencies are fundamental to our existence. They represent the underlying vibrations that shape our thoughts, emotions, physical reality. Again, they create everything. Think of it as atoms. These the frequencies, the inception frequencies that I talk about, they literally create the atoms, okay, and all the minute things that we don't even know about that create the atom, that create your cells, and so on like that. That's the frequencies that I'm talking about. Okay. Once we start to change that level, we start to change our emotions, physical reality, and so on, just like many of you have through XI. Again, you didn't change your mental state. That's the problem. There are hundreds of steps before you even get to your brain. All these things is what I'm talking about that we have to fix. Okay. Nothing physical can fix that because it's in another reality. It's in another consciousness. So that's the frequencies that I'm talking about. So by tuning into those frequencies, we can influence our experience here. Again, not through the mental state. We will get influenced here. So I teach that by aligning with the higher frequencies, we can literally effortlessly release old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us. And that's what, again, that's what we need to do. We need to release. And I say effortlessly because, again, how many of you have transformed? Okay, although you've transformed effortlessly, okay, and some of you went through some hard spaces. I did too. Okay, that's not the process of nature. The process was effortless, but you held on to your old bullshit, your old identity at a mental level. That's what caused you the pain. That's what caused you the identity. Okay? So, some of the techniques to releasing the old is frequency meditations. Again, these are cleanse and rejuvenate, not just the mind and the spirit, but through, again, your original core of who you are, the base level, the identity of who you are, that super intelligence that you are before you had a brain, before you had a body. We need to access that level. If everybody accessed that level as a whole, society would be very different. We wouldn't be facing the things that we do. So again, so we need to go deeper through guided meditations. I call them hyper meditations. Focus on elevating your frequencies, which allow you to detach. This is what I'm talking about, Billy. You detach from your old bullshit. You detach from the concepts of the old society, traumas, and negative experience. Do you notice that it's not a workaround? It's not like NLP or anything that Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza does. They do great work, by the way, but they don't release your past. They allow you to create methods so you can work with the past. I help you delete the past. They help you create a better method to control this thing here. Okay. It's a great marriage. It's a great mix. But again, there's a lot of competition out there. So they're not. They wouldn't think of it as complementary. All right. So once you detach from traumas, negative experiences, and do you notice that you don't detach it from here? It's not a mental issue. Do you notice that it's not part of you anymore? Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Whatever's happening in society, you keep asking yourself, it's like, shit, am I part of that? Am I part of society that's creating what is creating? And again, you're not taking the blame for it, right? It's not for you to blame because this happened generations ago when you weren't even around. Again, but when you see the distresses, the destruction in society, in your family at any level, just keep asking yourself, shit, am I part of that? Is there something that resonates with me there? And even if you don't think, is there some unknown frequency that resonates? I keep asking myself whenever I see Trump, whenever I see all that shit that's happening, I go, God, am I part of that? Is there any residue left of me in that society that I'm supporting? And I just keep cleaning it out. This is a great opportunity because the universe is there to help you, to literally help you clean out and release the old. Okay. This, what happens for you, the purpose for this is that it helps you identify and transform limiting and emotional patterns. Right. And what we do here is we map out emotional frequencies using obviously the XI techniques to shift these frequencies to, well, a more empowering state. So the outcome of that is what happens, what you all are doing, right? You are releasing at a base level, you're the base frequency level that I call it, that super intelligence that created you. Okay. And you can tell that it's a very base level because you can see the changes in your family. That's the key. You see the changes in your family. You didn't do anything to your family. You didn't say anything, but your presence, your essence changed. That's the level that I'm talking about. So this is real. So the outcome, okay, helps you reprogram your subconscious mind. So you changed your say super intelligence. It starts to change the subconscious mind, which starts to change, literally starts to edit your genetics, your DNA on that, leading to again lasting emotional freedom and resilience and abundance, because that's what we all want, right? But what we do is like, oh, abundance is over there. I want that, and then that'll set me free. Mm-mm. We're doing it the wrong way. We need to let the shit go. Okay. We need to clean all this stuff up here. And then naturally, abundance comes into us. That's the difference. That's a huge difference, by the way. It's not do what you're doing is not wrong. It's not right. You're not, it's just that you're not doing it in the right consciousness. Right. All right. So inception frequency recalibration for you, again, it allows you it allows you to realign your fundamental frequencies, the frequencies that create the frequencies that create density in this reality. Okay? If there was no density, or again, if there was no physical being of you, you would not have all the problems. Hence, a lot of people go, well, if I die. But here's the problem with that. Okay? You change the consciousness that created you, the timeless self that created you, that still exists at some level. So even if you die, again, if you die not awakened, it won't help this consciousness. Look at all the people, the billions, right? Hundreds of, I don't know how many people have died in history. Right? But again, the billions that of people have died wrongfully. You can say that they're haunting this reality, but that consciousness is still in the human mastermind. All those people, again, the human mastermind, no matter what experience that people have had, humans have had, it's in that genre. So you're swimming through that cesspool of everything that's happened to humanity. It's pretty crazy stuff. We need to remove ourselves from that. It's your responsibility to remove yourself. Again, it's gotten so dirty that you can't clean this shit up. You really can't. What nature does in that situation literally is like, well, you've learned as best as you can from the mastermind or whatever you're connected to that creates you. Okay. Whatever species it is. It's like, well, since this is ending, this version cannot be upgraded anymore. We'll delete it for you if you don't understand how to transfer or move on. So that's where we are, by the way. All right. All right. So the purpose, again, is to help you reset where we are, remove all the distortions that we've created from society. This is what you guys do at a physical level, right? You go through and clean out your genetic patterns. How many of you have changed the way you age? Your body shape, your body structure, even some of your hair color, your eye color, and so on. Okay? So we get rid of the root causes, again, at a frequency level. And once we do that, right, the purpose of that is to, well, the outcome of that is, well, really profound transformations, not just for you, but at a global level. If everybody in there, and sometimes what happens is the universe creates a situation so profound, so impact that you can't fucking deny it. You can't ignore it. Like Trump, he got shot. People were going to the rodeo. People were doing this. They just read it. It's like, oh, okay, that's. I'm gonna go think about this, and then nothing literally changed. It's like, oh, I'll just go about my own self. No, the people in today's society, people again, something profound will happen that people will wake up out of their hypnosis. All right. And then that's where we start to get really real change. That's where people go, I'm out of here. I'm not in this say, cesspool of a mastermind. I'm in the clean version of that mastermind. Okay. All right. And what happens here again is by when you start to resonate at a very, very different frequency. Okay. You start to become a very, very different individual. You do things for the right purpose. Right now, whatever you're doing, and that's what many people get confused, is that they do things for the wrong purpose. Okay? Once you start doing the right things for the right purpose, what you're doing, no matter what it is, will benefit you. The cool thing about that is when you're doing it for the right purpose, again, there's only one purpose: to be your best damn possible self that you can be in this reality. Again, the best possible time moment, the best possible reality that you can be. Talk about that on the science side. Right? I'll be talking more about that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the XI code. New YouTube channel, guys. Again, we need more and more subscribers. I'll give you the science, tell you what Terrence Howard was talking about, and a lot of the science that goes behind all this to help you understand. Once you start to change at a very, very deep level, again, you start to seamlessly integrate new habits, new patterns. And by doing that, this is where high frequencies come into play. This is where you resonate closer to nature. This is where we're copying nature's patterns. Right now, we're copying scientists' patterns, leaders of the past patterns. And do you notice today's leaders are basically yesterday's leaders, just in a different form? We can't have that. We can't have that. We can't have old world solutions to new world problems. It's not even a new world problem. It's a repeat of the old. All right. So let's take a deep breath in. We'll talk about resonance reinforcement on how to achieve. Again, this is all about letting go. and achieving success the proper way. So resonance reinforcement is a lot of where a lot of you are right now. Okay, you're going to a higher level. So what that means literally is that to maintain this level, right, to maintain this level, higher level of who you are, you have to reinforce yourself at this level. The problem is that some of you, okay, some of you, you go to this level and you go, you know what, I'm feeling unstable. Again, commenting if you're one of those individuals, you've had a great ride with XI. You're transforming, and you've gone to such a high level now that any of the old stuff is not working for you. So what that means is that you have to move from the old self into the new self. The new self does not have crutches of your past. So this is where you have to recreate yourself. This is where you have to like restabilize yourself in a very, very different way. You can't stabilize yourself through your wealth, through your religions, through anything like that of the old. Okay, you have to stabilize. You're using those outside stabilizations to wealth, success, knowledge, anything that is a magnifier. Right? People use that to stabilize themselves. Right? The way you're supposed to do it, and this is how you are letting go to achieve proper success. The way you're supposed to do it is you stabilize yourself internally as who you are as human. Okay. So once you know who you are at a very, very deep state, again, the inner fractal of who you are, what happens is that your success, your religions, your concepts of who you are, how you help people, all those things will become a reflection of who you are. This is the problem. People who want to achieve success, it's the biggest failure of their lives. Like religion go, well, they go, this is why success is the root of all evil. But say you're highly successful at understanding your religion. Same bullshit. Again, you have supported yourself through the concept of your religion. So you need to support yourself at a frequency level. Once you understand you are whole and you are complete, one, you can thrive in any environment. Key is you can thrive in any environment. Look at nature. It thrives in any environment. Right? Humans can do that as well. Not survive, but thrive in any environment. And then when you do, again, the reflection, the rewards of your frequency, naturally, the outcome of that is what we call today success. More money, having the big house if you want a big house, having your yachts, having a loving family. What most people do, having loving families, is they sacrifice themselves for loving families. Crazy shit. It's not again, that's not achieving success the proper way. Right. I'll go answer some questions real quick. I know we're running out of time. Here's the last thing that I noticed as well. I went to a rodeo. My son Alex, he loves. He's like, Dad, let's go check out the rodeo. He wants to go bull riding. And it's like I see those people. They're like breaking their spines. Like no way in hell. Way too smart for that. Anyway, um, in the beginning, they were talking about all the war veterans, and how they lost their lives and how they're honorable. Okay, unfortunately, um, I'm looking in that, and it's so sad. And there was in Minnesota, there was 30 POWs, prisoners of war, that never came home. Right, they didn't know whatever happened to them, missing. Right, they never know. So they obviously dead, lost, whatever it might be. Um, so they were honoring them, and then it's about honoring, fighting for freedom, fighting for this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, well, shit, you know, um, you know, Operation, and they have all these wars that they're talking about, current wars, freedom, this. Operation Freedom, this, and they name them such elegant, cool names. It's like, fuck yeah, I'll go there, right? Because you want freedom. But when you're fighting for freedom, you imprison yourself. When you're fighting for your success, how many of you have done that? I work with a lot of, you know, uh, wealthy individuals, highly successful individuals, and literally their wealth has imprisoned themselves. Your lack of wealth has imprisoned you, and you're fighting for freedom. You're fighting for your spirituality. You're fighting for your religions. It's all imprisoning you. Again, look at the extremists out there, no matter in what aspect. Okay, kind of crazy shit, right? So the key is once you remove that, the concept of fighting for your freedom, and then you just are. That's the best way. And look at all those people who've lost. I did a meditation to free the souls on that. It was one of the saddest things, And then more and more, unfortunately, people who have died through the war. It's like, well, what about me? What about me? So overall, when I was doing it at the rodeo, was just freeing the lives of again the 31 that was lost just in Minnesota, and then all this consciousness of all the other dead people came about, okay, that were lost in, say, war, okay? Not just the U.S., but other countries as well, because we're all human, right? You gotta treat everybody equally, and then it's like, well, shit, um, um, you what about all those people who went to war, needless war, just because of our value systems? Most of the wars brought about here. It's not about fighting for your freedom. It's about oppressing some your thoughts on the people that don't believe you. Simple as that. So again, we need to move away from that aspect, clean ourselves out, and then you probably won't have any wars anymore. Those people who needlessly died, they did die needlessly, okay? And they destroyed their families for what? What did they die for? Is that honoring them? Just because we take some silence and honor them, in a rodeo show or wherever else, or the president goes, yeah, we honor them. No, fuck, change your ways, dude. Really, the U.S. has to change their ways. Russia, all those people. It was like, why honor those people that you're killing at a political level? Literally, how can you honor people that you just put to slaughter? Okay? Don't want to get too into it, but think of it. And then the Americans, the rah type. Yeah, we got to fight for our freedom. No, you clean your shit up, and then you'll be free, and then you allow other countries to be free as well. Okay. All right. Let's take some. Yep. Take about 5 minutes, guys. Rodeo that abuse also animals. What about animals suffering in the wars? Exactly. It's not just, again, it's not just people, guys. Because of human destruction and how humans think that they have to create themselves here at a frequency level, it destroys everything. So once you get to a certain point of destruction, literally nature comes in, universe comes in. It's like, fuck, you're way too off. And literally, something happens that all of humanity just dies. Just boom. It doesn't matter your technologies or anything like that. It's like you're too fucked up. You're too far gone. Like we'll reset you again. And this is where we're no more as a species. But no worries. About 10, 20,000 years later, a new version of human comes up and it starts over again. So in this scenario, do we have to recreate humans from the base? We don't. We should be intelligent enough to go, this aspect isn't working for us. Let's move over here. Okay. Thank you so much. Who was that? Anna? Hopefully that's waking you up, guys. Some of you who are new to me, you're probably going, who the fuck is this guy? Right? Um, um, well, somebody very different. So if what I'm saying like really disturbs you at a very deep level, and not even at a conscious level, that's easy, But at a very like it moves you, it disturbs you at a core. You should be listening to this because that disturbance is not me. That disturbance is the bullshit that you've been thinking that is you. Okay. Um, there was this one comment on the psychedelic experience. Somebody new joined in, and I was talking about the shamans. And this is where again about letting go to achieve proper success. Right? We need to let go of all aspects of who we are to bring in real success in the way nature calls what success is about. So this person joins, he's new to me and all that. It's like, well, I'm talking about the shamans, and he's going, well, the shamans made, the shamans, they're spent all their life, perfecting their craft and stuff like that. First of all, bullshit. Shamans haven't perfected all their life. Nowadays, today's shamans, and again, if you listen to the whole thing, I said real shamans did this. They did it. So you want to follow a real shaman. I was talking about all the shamans that just took like 10 ayahuasca trips, and then they got a certificate from some organization that praises that they are the best in shamanism and so on like that. That kind of bullshit doesn't stand. Okay. Same thing with the sciences. Just because you got a science degree from Harvard and those places, it's bullshit. Again, that shit doesn't understand. So this guy is like, well, I'm not going to listen to him anymore. Well, you're stuck in that paradigm thinking that shamans, just because you are a shaman, or you're labeled a shaman, then all shamans are good. That's bullshit. You got to get rid of that spiritual bullshit, guys. That's the next thing. All these people who are in that spiritual movement, okay, again, there's great, beautiful practices, but watch what you're practicing. All the people in the religious experiences, all the things that you've learned about success. I did this video about 85% of what you know about success is totally wrong. So you'll never achieve complete or spherical success. So with that in mind, strategies that you've learned in this podcast, not this podcast, this episode of Masati on Sunday will help you release at a very, very, very deep level of who you are, so you can transform and become successful, not just for you, but for the world. Because we should all have an opportunity to be completely successful, completely abundant, completely free. That's what we were born for. All right. All right, guys. Notice what you notice. Notice the details. Peace. You.